At the beginning of the video, I wanted to share with you a very quick tip to fix the problem of the zipper heads not being able to lock together. This is a very common problem. The zipper is still intact, but the zipper head is not aligned, causing you to pull it up but not being able to pull it up. Here I have a zipper with exactly that problem. Both sides are good, but I can't lock it. To fix it quickly, I just need a regular kitchen fork. I put the zipper head into the two slots between the two teeth of the fork, one on each side. The purpose is for the fork to hold the zipper head in place and open the two grooves inside evenly. Once the zipper head is secured, I can insert the zipper into each side more easily. With just a slight push, the two sides of the zipper slide straight into the slot of the zipper head, and right after that, I give it a try. The zipper immediately works normally again, smoothly as if it had never been stuck. This is a small but extremely useful tip, especially in emergency situations when you need to fix a lock quickly without specialized tools. When a jacket is used for a long time, the zipper is very susceptible to deterioration. Especially the zipper head, the place that bears the most pulling force, is often worn, ulcerated and widened over time. At this point, each time the zipper is pulled, it becomes difficult, easily stuck, or cannot keep the two sides of the zipper teeth together as before. This situation is quite common, but many people think that they have to replace the entire zipper or throw away the jacket. In fact, with just a few simple steps, we can fix it and help the zipper work smoothly again. The first step is to use a small pair of scissors to remove all the excess thread around the bottom zipper. Because the shirt has been used for a long time, this area is quite messy, with some threads coming loose and some fabric threads looking very messy. I cut each section neatly, adjusting my hand as I go so as not to damage the main fabric of the shirt. Cleaning this surface helps to reveal the damaged zipper and create a comfortable space for the repair to be more complete. Once the surrounding area is cleaned up, I take a small needle and gently pin it close to the edge of the fabric next to the zipper head. The purpose is to keep this part of the fabric from moving while repairing. Because when the zipper is broken, the surrounding fabric often stretches and pulls around, so fixing it with a needle helps me focus on the right position to handle, and the operation is also more precise. After the fabric has stabilized, I continue to handle the bottom zipper stop, the part that has faded and deformed over time. I used a pair of scissors and slowly cut off this stopper. Since the metal is quite hard and sticks to the zipper, I had to cut it little by little so as not to tear the seams on both sides. This is a step that needs to be done carefully, as cutting it right and cleanly will help the subsequent repair steps go more smoothly. Where are you from? Comment to let me know. It's great that we can make friends from all over the world. After I had finished handling the old stopper, I started preparing the materials to create a new lock leg. At this point, I used a plastic straw. I picked up the straw, measured it a bit to estimate the appropriate length, then cut off a piece of about 2 to 3 centimeters. Next, I used scissors to cut along the body of the straw, opening a small groove. This vertical cut made it easier for me to adjust the straw to fit tightly around the part of the lock leg that had lost the pin before. Once the straw was prepared, I took the hot glue stick and a lighter. I heated the hot glue stick long enough for it to start to soften, then slowly dripped a thin layer of glue onto the inside of the lengthwise cut straw. This layer of glue acted as an adhesive, helping the straw to stick more firmly when attached to the lock. I didn't add too much glue, just enough so that when pressed, the straw would hug the lock tightly and maintain the necessary stiffness. While the glue was still hot and in a pliable state, I quickly clamped the straw into the lock leg position, where the old stopper had just been cut off. I slowly adjusted the tube so that it was in the right position, hugging both sides of the lock groove. At this time, my right hand held it steady, and my left hand adjusted the angle to be balanced so that when the glue dried, The new lock leg would look neat and sturdy. Finally, when the tube was in the right place, I used pliers to gently press both sides. I squeezed slowly, checking and adjusting the force so that the tube would not be deformed but still tightened tightly to the lock. This is the step that determines the durability of the new lock leg, so I did it quite carefully, pressing evenly to make sure everything was fixed firmly. After securing the straw to the zipper leg, I went back to work on the small detail from the beginning of the video, the fabric pin. I gently pulled the pin out of the edge of the jacket so that the fabric returned to its normal state without shifting. At this point, all the preparations were complete, and this was the most important moment. I tried to clip the zipper head to the teeth of the jacket and pull it. I put the scissors in the right position, pressed down lightly and pulled up. And surprisingly, the zipper, which had barely worked before, now slid up quickly and smoothly. Each tooth of the zipper clicked back together neatly as before, showing that the new zipper leg with the small straw worked more effectively than I thought. This was a simple yet extremely useful fix, helping to save an old jacket in just a few minutes. Next, I moved on to the torn armpit area, a very common problem when the jacket has been used for a long time. First, I prepared a piece of thread of a different color to make the stitching more visible and easier to adjust. During the process, I threaded the thread through the needle and checked the length to make sure it was long enough to sew the torn armpit area. Then, I used scissors to trim off any excess thread and frayed fabric around the torn edge. Cleaning this area helps the stitching to stick firmly, not get tangled, and avoids the old thread from hindering the sewing process. Once the area was neatly handled, I started sewing the jacket. In a symmetrical line, I passed the needle through the two edges of the fabric, creating even stitches to keep the finished armpit line flat and strong. I kept sewing in turn, one stitch after the other, moving evenly until I had gone through the entire length of the torn armpit area. We will sew in two directions, from bottom to front, to secure the armpit. After sewing up to the end, I use my hand to pull the thread once to tighten and tidy the seam. Then I continue to change direction, sewing from top to bottom again, so that the two sides of the fabric are pressed together and the stitching becomes more even, beautiful, and secure. This two-way sewing method helps the armpit to be more tightly secured and also limits the risk of tearing later. And so, with just a piece of thread and a few simple stitches, the torn armpit was fixed firmly and neatly. The symmetrical seam helps the fabric hug tightly again, both beautiful and durable when used. This is a quick and easy solution that anyone can do at home, helping the shirt to be saved immediately without having to take it to the shop. So today, we have saved the jacket together with two extremely simple tips: fixing the broken zipper and sewing the torn armpit. With just a few familiar tools and a little meticulousness, the old jacket will work smoothly and be as durable as new. Hopefully, these little tips will help you save time, money, and reuse your favorite items. If you find them useful, remember to try them and share them with everyone.